Welcome back. I know you miss me. It's Coach P, aka John Doe, one half of the unofficial assistant coaches. You might know me as Coach Oos. Honorary Uso. Shout out to Coach Nitty. We had a 2020 UA Coaches Awards, in which we are happy to present them following a championship year. I'm going to give a few of you time to go get a shot glass or two so that you may toast up with old coach following this wonderful year. Get the kids some cups too. Pour up some Kool-Aid, apple juice, whatever you got to get them. Let's all get gathered around and pay homage to the greatness displayed by these young men this year. Repping the Nick Saban All-Stars via Titletown, USA. Simply pause the video while you get situated and unpause when you get back with your drink of your choice. Let's start with special teams. We had a 2020 Special Teams Player of the Year. When it comes to special teams, there isn't too many more special than Jalen Waddle. I'm talking about the best kick returns, best punt returns, and you can still holler at us if you need your tax returns as well. Shout out to Waddle tax returns, fastest turnaround times in the country. Waddle performance was cut short this year due to injury, finishing with only 4 kick returns and 2 punt returns before going out for the season. In steps Jaleel, can you pay my bill, Lingsley, a tight end, to take over on kick return, finishing with a team best 5 returns for 89 yards, averaging close to 18 yards a return. Name me another team that has a true tight end that they can put at kick returner. I don't even want mine back there, but that's showing you the range of this guy's skill level. What can he do? Oh man, Jaleel, you can have a special career. Taking over on punt duty was the Golden Gazelle, in which he took one to the house on the play which I feel he officially took the Heisman Trophy from Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones. He finished with 11 returns for 237 yards, averaging 21.5 with that single touchdown that changed the course of history. And this, since Waddle goes down, would be enough to win the UA Coaches 2020 Special Teams Award Like they said, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk, but that's a different metaphor. Let's get back to the award. D. Smith would be Special Teams Award winner if Will Turrell wasn't enrolled at Alabama. Will Reichert kicked the perfect 84 out of 84 extra points, as well as 14 for 14 when we was in need of 3. You got to go all the way back to 2012 when a third-year kicker went 69 for 69 on extra points and 11 for 11 on field goals. Who was this? I'll give you a chance to guess. There are only 2 kickers to go 100% under Nick. And to be honest, Will, who kicked more extra points and more field goals during his year, also came at a time when we finally acknowledged the need and importance of a kicker. Granted, we didn't need him this much this year with the insane offensive performance, but it was still a breath of fresh air knowing he was on deck and ready for action. Shout out to Jeremy Shelley, the last kicker to go 100%, and an even bigger shout out to this year's UA Coaches Special Teams Player of the Year, Will Turrell Reichert, also known as Will Rashard. Shout out to Ahmad. Hopefully we don't get to showcase your skills too much this upcoming year unless it's for extra points. Stay focused. Will Turrell, ladies and gentlemen. Will Turrell! How can you not love him? Will Turrell! Everybody, Will Turrell! Let's all take a shot. Let's move over to the offensive side of the ball. What a year for the Alabama Crimson Tide, aka the Nick Saban All-Stars. Just when you think, man, Tua gone, injured 2 years in a row, winning 2 possible title runs, then having to see LSU put a dominant year together, while they coach barked as if it was fixing to be the new norm, and yet 1 year later, Alabama puts on a run better than any we have seen, including beating that same LSU coach who bragged as if he'd never won a game a year prior. Y'all badly beat us, but this year we beat the brakes off y'all. Every player on that team should have went to AutoZone after the game with a shirt saying they beat the brakes off us. Should have been sponsored by Midas.
Last time I seen a whipping that bad, somebody kid came home with bad grades.
It wasn't just LSU. We beat 11 of the 14 SEC teams. We won of the SEC teams. Only team we didn't whoop was a 2-8 South Carolina squad and an 0-9 Vandy squad. And let's be real, we don't have to even play Vandy to get a win. Ask this kid. Where do we start on offense? A valid candidate for Offensive Player of the Year is none other than Najee Jumpman Harris, aka Najee Loco, the Crimson Bull. Coming off a 1,224-yard season his junior year with 13 touchdowns, Najee turned up even harder his senior year, doubling his touchdown production to 26. He piled up 1,466 yards with another 425 catching, averaging 9.9 a catch. Let's just say 10 yards a catch to keep from confusing some of our authentic country familiar. Najee finished third in the nation in rushing, 1 yard away from being number 2 in the nation. Imagine if we didn't have a Heisman candidate at quarterback. Najee could have very well carried the team while leading the nation in rushing. Even with our quarterback busting the stat books open, Najee still finished the season only 106 yards off the national lead. Usually a team has a killer passing attack or a killer rushing attack. But our identity was fueled by both. Pick your poison. Tupac featuring Jodeci. How do you want it? Speaking of passing, another candidate for this award has to be the newest signal caller in Title Town, whose name I've been screaming since Tour was starting to take over after Tour. When most of y'all wouldn't listen, I told y'all we have another Elite 11 stud that would give us what we needed at the quarterback position. Preseason, I described him as A.J. McCarron 2.0 with more weapons, yet he still outperformed my expectation. Shout out to AJ. Now let's not forget, at one point AJ had more championships than losses. Let that sink in. But back to Big Mac, no fries. Finishing second in Heisman votes after leading the race the majority of the year. Led the league in pass efficiency. Finished second in touchdowns, only 2 off the lead. Led the nation in passing yards with 4,500. Finished third in yards per game. Led the nation in completion percentage. Was second in the nation in yards per attempts, and an inspiration to all players who believe in themselves and wait their time to shine. In a stable of quarterbacks where his name wasn't mentioned nowhere as much as his teammates, Max stayed focused, stayed loyal, and ended up having an MVP caliber year for the Nick Saban All-Stars. If Jalen Waddle doesn't get hurt and Six has to split catches with Waddle all season, Mac takes home most of the hardware given out this year. But follow me now. This ain't got nothing to do with whoopee cushions and dance contests. I said, but Waddle did get hurt, which changed everything. In steps the Golden Gazelle, Devontae Silky Smooth Smith, who transformed from really good to better than great. I still don't think he ran a route yet. The boy was floating past these kids as if it was Little League players on the field. I never seen route running in production like this. I can compare his hands to Fitzgerald, but I can't compare his route running to anyone but himself. This is the most effortless killer I have ever seen. I actually had Waddle labeled as PFP, but Waddle actually weighs more than Smith. Jeez, I'm not even gonna get to the stats. They mean nothing. If you didn't get to see this guy put up one of the best seasons to cap out one of the best careers ever, your loss. Stats won't do justice. You had to see this. You throw the ball anywhere in this guy's area, it's considered a catch. Started his career making plays as a true freshman, catching one of the most famous passes in Alabama history, second and 26, which was made possible by the sneaky smooth route running of Smith. The cornerback north safety figured Tua would go that way because Devontae badly looks like he's running full speed. But next thing you know, bow! Stride had him at the goal line by the time Tua looked him off and came back with the laser hurled around the globe. Starting your career like that and ending it with a season like this on one of the best offenses in college history, led by you, in a year you could have already been in the NFL. I salute you, kid. You have the best receiving career of anyone who ever scrapped up at wide receiver U. And we have had some true killers. So give it up for your 2020 UA coaches, Offensive Player of the Year, Devontae Silky Smooth Smith. The Golden Gazelle. I gotta take a shot after that. I got to take a shot. Toast up to the Golden Gazelle. Big shout out to Sarkeesian on that play calling this past year as well. And calling that championship game instead of going on over to Texas, finishing his job. Shout out to Sarkeesian, man. Had nothing bad to say about that season. Beautiful calling. Efficient. I mean, even the pickiest fans just ain't got much to say. I still want to see me a little Wildcat with some of these killers we got, but you know, that's just personal opinion. That ain't got nothing to do with the beauty of the plays that was actually called. But let's go and migrate over to this defensive side of the ball. And let's go and award this 2020 Defensive Player of the Year, UA coaching style. Before we even get into that, let's take another shot. Shout out this year. This one for the championship trophy. Let's just go and jump that. Let's go and get that out the way. Toast up to the championship. Roll Tide. Can I get a Roll Tide? Can I get a Roll Tide? Can I get a Roll Tide? Now let's get over to this defensive side of the ball. Christian Brothers led the attack on defense, and I ain't talking about the liquor. Shout out to all the brandy drinkers out there. I'm a cognac man myself. Christian Harris led the team in solo tackles and total tackles, which is solo tackles and assisted tackles combined. Was also 4th on the team in sacks and 4th on the team in tackles for loss. Christian Barmore, your other half of your Christian Brothers, led the team with 8 sacks and was 3rd on the team with 9.5 tackles for loss. Christian was my guy coming into the year. I was on him just like I was on Q, the Bandit Williams. But his year wasn't as dominant in the beginning as it was toward the end. Of course, defenses probably targeted him early knowing how he finished the previous year. But even when defenses targeted Q, he still dominated. I feel that's how Barmore would be all next season. Unfreaking stoppable. Though I do feel he has done enough to stamp himself as a first-round draft pick, I feel one more year would have made him a top 3 pick Bandit style. But back to the current year, defensive MVP talk. If Barmore plays all year like he ended the year, it's an easy vote. Plus, he was my guy coming into the season. But, hold up, I ain't talking cigarettes, and I definitely ain't talking twerking. When I say, but, the show was stolen by this year's defensive MVP, who I feel can be the baddest player in college football as early as next year. Let's look at Alabama's total tackles. Our middle linebackers hold 1 and 2 spot. That's a given on most teams. 3rd spot, safety. 4th spot, safety. 5th spot, safety. 6th spot, Josh Jobe. 7th spot, this guy. He finished 2nd on the team with 7 sacks. Shout out to my boy Chris, the human Allen Wrench with 6, 3rd on the team. But back to this MVP, who was also 2nd on the team in tackles for loss, led by the Allen Wrench. Did I also mention this kid is just a true freshman? Give it up for the UA 2020 Defensive Player of the Year, the Matrix, Mr. Anderson.
That boy is good.
Speaking of true freshmen, shout out Malachi, led the team with 3 interceptions. Speaking of interceptions, shout out to Sir Patrick Surtain, sir. Salute, young fella. We talking about interceptions right now, son. Some you will never, ever, ever, ever lead Alabama defense in, because opposing quarterbacks and OCs are not that slow. I told y'all, Surtain can't possibly be in a frat because he gets no action. Surtain like the ugliest female in the club. Nobody won't look his way. As of February 2021, 71% of the world is covered by water. The rest is covered by Patrick Surtain. Shout out to Deion Sanders, the best that ever do it. So shout out to 2020 Defensive Player of the Year, UA Coaches Defensive Player of the Year, our very own Will Anderson, And I'm ready to see him for the next couple years because he only gonna be here 3 because this boy gone. If your mama's still working, like I said, you need to tell her to go to work, shake her head, get her bread, then leave. Then leave. Then leave. If this boy stayed for his 4th year, he had 7 sacks this year, next year probably 15. But if he stayed for his 4th year, 1 year, his 4th year, single season sack record, I predicted. If Will Anderson stayed for 4 years, and 1 year, his 4th year, he get 73 sacks. 73 sacks in 1 year. That's Will Anderson. The Matrix. I'm telling you. Another shot. Shout out again to the UA 2020 Coaching Award winners. Special team, Will Too Real Riker. Offense, Devontae Silky Smooth Smith. The Golden Gazelle. Defense, Will Anderson, The Matrix. Make sure you get to the uacoaches.com, get that new merch. Make sure you get that championship shirt. Make sure y'all stay tuned. Content on the way. It's Chestnut Checkers. We see what they don't and say what they want. It's Coach P, 1/2 of the unofficial assistant coaches. I see you in a quick minute.